Today, we're diving into the exciting possibility of the Chicago Bears selecting the next big defensive talent in the 2025 NFL Draft. Specifically, we're talking about a player who could one day be remembered as the next Khalil Mack. Now, we all know the type of legacy Mack has built over the years, and that's a tough act to follow. But when you start to look at the numbers, the physical traits, and the production on the field, you can't help but see some striking similarities between Khalil Mack and Mike Green, the defensive standout from Marshall University. Let's get one thing straight. I'm not saying that Mike Green is going to follow the exact same path as Khalil Mack, but if you look closely at his performance in college, it's hard not to draw comparisons. When Mack left the University of Buffalo, he was already showing signs of future greatness in the NFL, and Green's metrics, performance, and test results in college aren't far behind. This is a player who could make an immediate impact on the NFL stage. Mike Green had an absolutely stellar season in 2024, with numbers that immediately put him on the radar of scouts and experts across the league. His college production was off the charts, and when you watch him play, you can see why. Like Mack, Green played in a smaller conference, which brings up the inevitable question, how good was the competition? We'll get into that in a minute, but let's not ignore the fact that, despite the lesser competition, Green was a dominating force for Marshall. The level of talent he faced in Conference USA may not have been on par with the powerhouses in the Power 5 conferences, but let's face it, some of the best players in NFL history came from smaller schools, and the NFL isn't always about where you played. It's about what you do with the opportunity. One thing that stands out when analyzing Green's college career is how much attention he drew from opposing teams. It's not unusual for elite pass rushers in smaller conferences to be the focal point of opposing offensive lines, but Green wasn't just a player they tried to contain. He was the player they couldn't stop. Despite double and triple team blocks, despite tight ends and running backs being assigned to help out in blocking schemes, Green still found a way to dominate. His ability to consistently win one-on-one matchups and wreak havoc in the backfield is a testament to his skill, determination, and raw talent. And when you look at the Pro Football Focus grades, you see exactly what we're talking about. Green earned an overall grade of 92, with individual grades of 91 in pass rush and 90 in run defense. Those are elite numbers, and they tell you everything you need to know about his potential. In terms of pass rush, Green's numbers are incredible. A pressure rate of 22% means that on 1 out of every 5 snaps, he's beating his blocker and putting the quarterback under pressure. For a defensive player, that's a ridiculously high rate. And he doesn't just stop at getting pressure, he finishes the job. Green recorded 2 sacks against Virginia Tech and had several more pressures, around 7 or 8, in that game alone. He also managed to get to the quarterback for a sack against Ohio State, a team full of future NFL talent. The fact that Green was able to have such an impact against a team like Ohio State is huge, and it's a big reason why NFL scouts are so high on him. These performances, against some of the best defensive lines in college football, speak volumes about his ability to compete at a high level. One of the most notable events in Green's draft process was his performance at the Senior Bowl, where he competed against some of the best draft prospects from the SEC, Big Ten, and ACC. Green was so dominant in practices that he decided to sit out the game at the request of his agent in order to avoid injury. The fact that he didn't even play in the game and still earned rave reviews shows how highly scouts view his potential. Even in a week of practice against top-level talent, Green proved he was one of the best players on the field, and that's a huge statement to make. Of course, we all know that playing in a smaller conference and then transitioning to the NFL is never an easy jump. But when Green was given the chance to face top-tier competition, he always rose to the occasion. Whether it was in his dominant performances against teams like Virginia Tech and Ohio State, or in his impressive week at the Senior Bowl, Green proved time and time again that he has the tools to succeed at the next level. The big question is, how does he fit into an NFL defense? And more specifically, how does he fit into the Chicago Bears defense? In terms of his physical attributes, Green is an impressive specimen. He's not quite as tall as some of the elite pass rushers in the NFL, but he has an incredibly powerful frame. At 6'4" and around 250 pounds, he brings a nice combination of size and speed to the table. He has excellent burst off the line of scrimmage and is relentless when it comes to getting after the quarterback. As a pass rusher, he displays a variety of techniques to beat his blocker. One of his go-to moves is a devastating spin move, which he uses to get around offensive linemen and generate pressure on the quarterback. He also excels at using his strength to overpower blockers. And while he may need to fine-tune his technique at the next level, the foundation is there for him to be a force. Looking at his run defense, Green is no slouch. While he may not be the most polished run defender just yet, his raw power and ability to disengage from blockers make him a solid presence against the run. He's effective at setting the edge and can be a real problem for running backs trying to get to the outside. His ability to stop the run and generate pressure on passing downs gives him tremendous versatility, and that's something NFL teams will definitely covet. Now, let's talk about the transition to the NFL. As with any player coming from a smaller school, there are going to be questions about how Green will adjust to facing top-tier talent week in and week out. It's one thing to dominate in Conference USA, but it's another thing entirely to do it against NFL-caliber talent. That's the challenge for Green. And while his tape from college shows that he can hang with the best, it's still an unknown whether he'll be able to make the jump successfully. But the fact that he was able to perform against high-level competition when given the chance, like at the Senior Bowl and against teams like Virginia Tech and Ohio State, suggests that he has the ability to succeed at the next level. So, the question remains, how high will Mike Green go in the 2025 NFL Draft? Many analysts view him as one of the top pass rushers available, and some even have him as the second best in the class behind a few other elite prospects. His physical traits, his college production, and his performance in high-profile games have all pointed to him being a player who could make an immediate impact in the NFL. If the Chicago Bears are looking for a pass rusher who can help solidify their defense, Mike Green could be a great fit. But as always, there are concerns outside of football to consider. Teams will be doing their due diligence on his character and personal life before making a decision. And that's a big part of this discussion. Off-the-field concerns are always a factor when it comes to the draft, and Mike Green is no exception. While he has shown maturity and openness in addressing certain issues, it's up to the teams to do their homework and figure out if he's the right fit for their culture. Teams will need to evaluate his character closely, speak with his coaches and teammates, and determine if there are any red flags. If he checks out, Green could very well be one of the top pass rushers selected in the draft. If not, that's going to be a tough decision for a lot of teams to make. The bottom line is that Mike Green is a player who has all the physical tools to be a standout pass rusher in the NFL. Whether or not he can overcome the challenges of playing at a smaller school and adjust to the NFL will determine just how successful he becomes. But there's no doubt that his potential is sky high, and he's a player that every NFL team is going to have to seriously consider when the draft rolls around in 2025. The Bears could be a perfect fit for him, but there's still a lot of evaluation to do before anyone makes that call. As we move forward in discussing Mike Green and his potential fit in the 2025 NFL Draft, we start to look deeper into what makes him a unique prospect, both on and off the field. One of the most intriguing aspects of Green's game is his ability to perform against high-caliber competition, even though he came from a smaller school. As we mentioned earlier, Mike Green's college career was filled with moments of dominance. But when you dig deeper, you realize that the challenges he faces moving to the NFL are far more complex than simply his college performance. Green's physical traits are impressive, no doubt. Standing 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing about 250 pounds, he has the ideal frame for an edge rusher. His quickness off the line of scrimmage, combined with his strength and power, makes him an intriguing prospect for any team in need of a pass rusher. But it's not just his size that makes him stand out. It's his combination of explosiveness and motor. Green's quick first step and relentless drive to the quarterback have made him a force in college football. And if he can translate that to the NFL, he could be a game changer. However, the question remains, will he be able to transition from a lesser-known college program like Marshall to the fast-paced, high-intensity environment of the NFL? For some players, this jump is smooth and seamless, but for others, it's a challenge that takes time to overcome. One thing that Green has going for him is his ability to rise to the occasion when faced with higher-level competition. As mentioned, he had dominant performances against teams like Ohio State and Virginia Tech, which are programs that regularly produce NFL talent. If he can continue to elevate his game against the best players the league has to offer, then the sky's the limit for him. That said, it's crucial to recognize that transitioning from a smaller school to the NFL doesn't come without its challenges. The talent gap between teams like Marshall and some of the top-tier programs in the Power 5 conferences is substantial. Green has shown that he can handle himself when the competition steps up, but that doesn't guarantee that he'll have the same success against NFL-caliber athletes. The question for NFL teams is whether he has the mental fortitude to deal with the increased pressure, both on and off the field, that comes with playing at the highest level. Off the field, there are also significant concerns that need to be addressed. While Green has been open and upfront about certain aspects of his past, teams will undoubtedly be digging deep into his personal history to ensure that he's the right fit for their locker room. It's not just about his on-field abilities. It's about whether or not he has the character and maturity to succeed in the NFL. Every team has its own standards and protocols when it comes to evaluating a player's off-field behavior, and it's up to Green to prove that he is more than just a talented player on the field. He needs to demonstrate that he's someone who can be trusted off the field as well. Green has already shown a willingness to address some of the concerns that have been raised about him, particularly the accusations he has faced in his past. During an important event, he took the opportunity to openly discuss these issues, providing his side of the story and giving teams a chance to hear from him directly. This kind of transparency is rare in the world of professional sports, and it's a sign that Green is willing to take responsibility for his past. However, while his openness is commendable, it's still up to the teams to do their due diligence. They need to assess whether these issues are something that could affect his performance on the field or cause disruptions in the locker room. One of the things that teams will be looking at is how Green handles these types of situations. Does he take full responsibility for his actions? Does he show genuine remorse for any mistakes he has made? And most importantly, does he demonstrate that he has learned from his past and grown as a person? These are tough questions that Green will have to answer during the pre-draft process. It's not just about whether he can play football. It's about whether he can be a reliable, responsible member of the team both on and off the field. As teams continue to evaluate Mike Green, it's important to remember that he is more than just a player with a checkered past. He is a talented, driven individual who has the potential to be one of the top pass rushers in the NFL. His performance on the field speaks for itself, and there's no denying that his skill set is top tier. However, the question that teams need to answer is whether or not he can handle the off-field scrutiny that comes with being an NFL player. If he can prove that he is more than capable of dealing with the pressures that come with the spotlight, then he could become a star in the league. As we look ahead to the draft, it's clear that Mike Green is a player who is generating a lot of buzz. His physical attributes, his college production, and his ability to rise to the occasion against top-tier competition have made him a top prospect in the 2025 class. But as always, there are questions that need to be answered. Teams will need to determine if he has the mental toughness to succeed at the next level and if he can overcome the off-field concerns that have been raised. For the Chicago Bears or any other team, the decision to draft Mike Green will come down to a combination of factors: his on-field performance, his potential for growth, and his character. The draft is always full of uncertainty, and it's rare that a player comes into the league without any questions or concerns. Mike Green is no exception. He's a talented player with a lot of potential, but it's up to the teams to determine if he's worth the risk. If he can prove that he is the complete package, on and off the field, he could become one of the next great pass rushers in the NFL. But if teams have lingering doubts, they may decide to pass on him. Time will tell, and the decision is fast approaching. As the draft draws closer, it will be interesting to see where Green lands and how his career unfolds in the NFL. The bottom line is that Mike Green is a player to watch. His talent is undeniable, and his potential is sky high. But as with any prospect, there are no guarantees in the NFL. Whether or not Green can live up to the hype remains to be seen, but one thing is for sure: he's going to be one of the most talked about players leading up to the 2025 draft. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors are swirling around Chicago, and they're only getting louder. Could DeAndre Swift's time with the Bears already be nearing its end? Just a year after signing a lucrative 3-year, $24 million deal, speculation is mounting that the Pro Bowl running back might not be part of the team's long-term plans. Whether it's a strategic move by the front office or frustration from Swift himself, the uncertainty has fans anxiously awaiting the next development. Despite a rocky start to the 2024 season, Swift showcased his explosiveness in crucial moments, proving why Chicago invested in him. His ability to bounce back from early struggles and deliver key performances, like his Week 4 breakout against the Rams, should have solidified his role as a cornerstone of the offense. However, with the Bears coaching staff reportedly exploring alternative options in the backfield, questions about Swift's standing within the team have gained traction. Adding fuel to the fire, whispers around the league suggest that multiple teams have expressed interest in acquiring Swift. His combination of speed and versatility makes him an appealing target for franchises in need of a dynamic playmaker. If Chicago decides to entertain trade offers, the financial implications and potential draft capital return could heavily influence the front office's decision. For now, Swift remains committed to the Bears, but behind closed doors, the reality could be far more complicated. Could internal tensions, scheme concerns, or a surprise trade offer push Chicago to cut ties sooner than expected? If so, where would Swift land next? And what would it mean for the Bears' offensive identity moving forward? With the NFL offseason approaching, the clock is ticking on Chicago's next move. Will the Bears double down on their investment? Or is a blockbuster trade brewing behind the scenes? The uncertainty surrounding Swift's future is only intensifying, keeping fans and analysts on edge as they await the next twist in this developing saga. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.